Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 4 of Never Over the Hill with myself, Hilary Roy, and we are welcoming our beautiful and talented guest, Erin Crawford, today on the podcast. She is a fashion stylist, and we met when she walked into my shop, and we started up a conversation, and I feel like we just talked for a long time. We had just like a lot of things to discuss, and in fashion and style and shopping local and all of the things that I'm super into, and Erin also is. So I am going to pass the mic to Erin. She can introduce herself and just talk a little bit about what you do and how you got started.
Okay, well, I'm Erin, and as Hilary said, I am a fashion stylist, and I got started doing, it was so random how I got started. When I tell people my background, they're like, you do what? And you did what? I was in economics and math undergrad, so I've always just been like a little numbers nerd. I'm a Libra, so I like balance. So I think that's why I'm like, okay, these things have to equal out.
That's so interesting though with style, because style is all about balance too.
It is, and I think I got very interested in it. I've always loved clothes. I feel like in high school, that's how I was able to express myself. I was in a very small town in North Carolina, and I was like, let's mix pink and orange and like go to school and be myself.
I love it. I love that.
And just be kind of flamboyant and crazy. And I went to college, was an econ nerd, and all of my roommates, though, were these like little fashion girls. They were all like textile and designers and or fashion.
Where did you go to college?
I was NC State in Raleigh.
Okay.
And I was always like just doing like Stata homework, and they were making shirts. And I was like, so cool. I would like go out, and everyone was super stressed out because I was stressed out about my thing, and they were stressed out about their things. And I would just help them put things together, and it was great. It was an outlet, and graduated and moved to DC for grad school, and always just kind of loved style. In DC, the style is tan, white, and black. And I would show up to work in my like government job in a highlighter yellow shirt. And I just thought it was fun, and it got people talking to me, which I always I love making friends and contacts, and as you know, I love you.
I mean, that's why I feel like we get along so well. And actually, you are already answering one of my questions.
Sorry.
No, it's amazing because I love when the conversation just leads into the question. But I'm just going to say that one of the questions is, did your style and fashion influence your career choice? And you're literally answering this. So it's very interesting. And continue on with the story. You're working in DC.
I'm working in DC, doing my thing, met a boy. And of course, and he was going to grad school in the Northeast. And he's like, I think I'm probably going to end up in New York. And I was 26 and was like, I'm not married to DC. Why not give it a shot? I applied for a job at Morgan Stanley and got it, which is crazy. So I packed up my bags and moved up.
Did you guys move together?
No.
Okay.
I moved by myself and started completely over again. I did that in DC, didn't know a soul. So I was like, okay, let's go to New York, find out what's going on. Did it. And he moved in when he graduated, like a year and a half later.
Is this the boy?
This is the boy.
Is this the husband?
This is the husband. One of my 3 boys. I'm surrounded by boys. Yeah. I have 2 little boys, and I did the same thing at Morgan Stanley. I was so buttoned up for the first few months because it's like very like investment banking, white shirt, black pants, which I'm wearing today, but in different textures than I would. And I was like, you know what? screw this. By my first year in, I was back to my highlighters and crazy shoes, and always tried to ride the line of like looking professional versus having fun. And I had a couple of coworkers ask me to do that for them. And
I love that. So it was a very, the like, it was kind of like a path that was just set in front of you.
Yeah, it was
naturally.
just organic. Yeah. And so I did. I was like, let's just go shopping and have fun. Like, we're women in a very male-dominated workplace.
Right.
And I feel like our personalities need to show, and just to make it, and to kind of set yourself apart.
Right.
If not, you're just like another person at a desk.
Right.
So we did that.
And you were still working though at Morgan Stanley.
Yeah,
okay.
I was still working, and I kept doing it just like on the side. Like friends would be like, I have to go to this wedding. What should I wear? I'm doing this. I'm going for a job interview. What should I wear that's appropriate but can show me a little bit? So I just did that for years. And then the pandemic hit, and we had nothing to do.
Right.
But we were all online shopping.
Yes.
So we would just buy clothes, and I'd be like, hey, let's just try them on and see what looks good. And
were you still working then?
I was.
Okay, so you really were doing 2 jobs.
Yes. And and then I was pregnant 2021. I was, well, I love to multitask. I'm kind of crazy.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing like 5 different things, I'm not doing.
Right. I feel that. I do.
Yeah. Your Virgo self, which I love. And gosh, when was it? 2022, I went back to work, and just everyone that I really loved left. I came back from maternity, and I was just like, where is everyone? And the people who were left, apart from a couple that I still speak to, just weren't great.
Yeah.
I feel like some people emerged from COVID had a positive outlook on, okay, this is our second chance. Let's do this. And others were just like, you know what? I'm here to just climb the ladder, and I don't care who I screw over. Yeah. And that's who I was encountering. I was just like, you know what? This isn't for me. Right. And I had to talk with my husband. I was like, I can't just stay at home with the kids, even though I do. Right. But you wanted the freedom. I've got it. Yeah. And I was like, I need to create, and I need to do this thing. And he's like, why don't you take your styling that you've done for years and just make a business? Right. And so I did. And it's been 3 years. And it's everything. I am just so beyond lucky that I style, but my clients are what make me and my business. Yes. It's just the most wonderful group of people. That's amazing. And I said it. I posted a yearly wrap up yesterday. No, I was reading that, and I was looking through all of the things that you did. And it is absolutely amazing how Erin has, you truly turned this into a real success story. And really overnight, it's not overnight. That's the thing that I always find it interesting, is that you were doing this for so many years. Yeah. But so you've been doing it for longer than 3 years. Right. But really, when you finally were like, I'm going to commit to this, I'm going to do this. This is what I'm good at. This is my gift. And now you have a thriving business. And I actually would love to know if you have a name for your style, or if you can describe your style. I classic eclectic. Okay. As I was asked by a mutual person, I think we're both working for just defining my brand. And I'm like, a lot of women want the classic, timeless style. Yes. Which is great. Yes. But you have to throw some funk on it, or it's not yours. To me, it's not mine, and it's not theirs. Right. And I'm like, you can look at a lookbook and say, this looks great, but everyone's going to do the same thing. Right. And it's just like, I mean, it can be a necklace, it can be some earrings, it can be a pair of shoes, it can be a funny like silk shirt you put under that suit.
Right.
You have to put your own spin on it.
Right.
And really live it.
Yeah.
And I have clients that just never wanted to, they were afraid to step out of that.
Right.
And I get like teary-eyed when I see one of them in like a crazy jacket now.
Right.
Because they feel confident
and you can see that.
it.
You can like actually see when somebody feels,
And it's so magical.
Yeah.
It's just the best.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's just like, it's so amazing.
Yeah. So do you have any moment that you can remember where you were like, maybe when you were younger or trying your, looks out, where you were like, this was, looking back, a mistake, a style mistake, or something, like something that stands out for you that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I wore that, or something funny.
Every day. I, especially now that like the early 2000s styles are making a resurgence, I'm just like, oh God.
Yeah.
I remember looking at Adelia's catalog and just being like, yep. Like lime green and blue capri pants. Like, yeah, that's it. Oh gosh, so many. I think I was freshman year of college. The North Face fleece, the like 7 for All Mankind, Citizens, flare jeans with wallabies and a cowboy boot. And that's all I wore because everybody else was wearing it.
Right.
And I look back on that and I'm just like, cringe.
See, I love that look. I actually like that. To me is a classic.
It is, but if you like, you see all those memes now where it's like you go in the West Village and you see the girls in like the same crop top.
Right.
Jean.
Yes.
That's how it feels. Like I look back and I'm like, I'll see clusters of us and we all look the exact same. And I think about it, I'm like, we were 19 and just wanted to look cool.
Right. And you wanted to fit in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So the mistake was like that you dressed like everybody else. Yeah.
Because like in high school, I'd wear the craziest things.
Right.
And it is such a contrast. I look at my senior year versus freshman year. And it's like, I know what happened. You go to a new place and you're like, okay, this is what I need to do to make friends.
Right. So your style mistake is actually funny because you're saying that when you dressed crazy and like yourself and more eclectic, that was more right for you than when you dressed like everybody else. And that's pretty much goes with your business. It goes with your whole thing, which you take things that are on the runway or that other people can have and you make them fit into the person. You get to know the person. So, so tell me now about your most memorable style memory. In a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I think it was still, I hate to like keep harping back onto my senior year of high school because I think that's when I finally, like that's such a weird age when you're like 18 and getting ready to leave like this small town. And I chose to go to like a big state school for that reason. Like I had the option to go to like a smaller, probably like a quote unquote better school. But I was like, it's 30 minutes away and I know.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm going to go 3 hours away and just go to this huge school where I don't know anyone. And I think it was probably my prom dress.
I love it. I love that memory.
I look back at that might be another cringe moment. It was crazy. My mom was like, I went with like one of my friends. Like I didn't have like a high school boyfriend. And she took me to this place in Charlotte that, I think it was Charlotte. That was like the big town, Charlotte. I was like, oh God. And they made like pageant dresses. But she was like, Erin, nobody's going to have something from here. And I was like, well, is it like, I don't want like John Benet Ramsey. Like, and she's like, no.
Yeah.
And tried on some things. And I chose this bright pink. I mean, neon pink. Like it was, like lace up here, had some sequins, but not too many.
Right. Oh, my prom dress was all sequins, so, and I still have it. So
I still have this one. And the skirt was a knee-length ostrich feather bright pink extravaganza. And it was the craziest thing. And I was like, I like it, and I don't really care who does it.
What shoes did you wear?
This is even worse. I think they were like clear.
I love that. Oh my God. So good. It sounds very Legally Blonde.
I think that's had some input on the choice. But I think from that moment, and that's why the whole like freshman year of college thing is so weird to me. Because like, I was like, I don't care. I like it and I'm going to wear it.
Right. And so did people have this crazy reaction to it? Were you like the celebrity at the prom?
I wouldn't say celebrity. They were like, oh, like that's Erin's wearing something crazy that tracks.
Okay, that tracks. Yeah.
Totally
right,
tracks.
Right.
And then my wedding dress was pink too. I don't know.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it bright pink?
No, it was like a muted.
Okay. That's so cool.
It had like 3D flower. It was crazy.
Wow.
But I just always gravitate towards something that's not usual.
I love that.
I do too, but it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
But my mom was kind of like, okay, that's really what you want to wear.
Yeah.
And she loved it too, but she was like, what about this like really white ball gown?
Yeah.
I was like, that's
So is your mom very Southern, like proper? Is it like?
She's very, she's more laid back and a lot more quiet than I am. I'm a little loud and crazy.
Right.
I guess I get that from my dad.
Okay.
I don't know, but she's like very just serene and sweet. She was a nurse forever, so I feel like that's just her personality. She's just very sweet.
Yeah. But you went with the pink. You went with the bright pink, and you will never forget it. And you still have it.
I still have it.
Would you ever wear it to something?
I tried it on.
Yeah.
When I was home last time, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try.
You should wear it to like a New Year's party or something, or like your birthday party.
I know.
You should have like a great birthday party and wear that dress.
Maybe when I turn 40.
Yeah.
I'll dust it off.
Totally. No, seriously, I'm not kidding. Like I wore my senior prom dress. I'm sorry. My junior prom dress, which was from Cachet.
So was mine.
Oh my God.
Yes.
And it was black sequin, and I still have it.
Yeah.
And I wore it to a Christmas party a few years ago, and people were like, where did you get that? And I'm like, it's vintage. But I probably mentioned that it was my prom dress, but it literally is vintage because it's over 25 years old.
Yeah.
My senior prom, I wore a silk skirt from Barney's and a little sweater, and I still have the skirt, and I wear it all the time. So I actually love wearing things that are now vintage, but that are mine, but they're vintage.
It's so special.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay. Oh, this is a good one.
Okay.
What is the most versatile piece in your wardrobe?
A white button-down shirt.
And look what you're wearing right now.
Yes, I have this lovely podcast this morning, and then I have 4 client calls this afternoon. So I'm like, I wear it, and it looks put together, but it's so comfortable.
Yes.
And you can kind of like manipulate it and twist. That's my favorite thing to do is like kind of twist it and wear it like a high-waisted skirt, like a big I put a client in this huge tulle skirt a couple of weeks ago with just a button down for a wedding, and it was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
So how many do you own?
Oh, probably a hot dozen. Yeah, probably 10 or 12.
And do you have a favorite like brand that makes one, or is it?
Yeah. This is Julia Amory, which I feel like is super crispy and nice, and it's not like see-through. Some of them, I have to like test them out.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh. And then that brand, it's no longer with us. It's like an influencer brand, something navy.
Oh,
that Ariel Sharon had.
Yes.
She made.
Wait, that's not a thing anymore.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was like here and gone, and they made the best Oxford cloth shirts. And so I have a few, and I'm just
like, what about Ralph Lauren? Do they still make?
They do.
Because I have some of those shirts from college.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still have those, and I still wear them.
So
they're the best.
What, like, when you get dressed in the morning, is it like you dress for what you're doing that day?
I do.
But a white button-down shirt is normally like, you can wear it so many different ways.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
If I'm out, if I have like a lot of just FaceTime calls, I'm like, yep, throw on some funky necklaces. You look good from the top
Yeah.
up. And if I'm out on the streets styling, I usually end up in kind of a inadvertent uniform.
Well, that was my next question.
Oh, sorry.
No, I love this. Actually, it's so good when the conversation just goes, because I was actually going to ask you, do you have a daily uniform? Yeah.
I do. It's usually this or a favorite t-shirt, depending on, like in the summer, I'm just like, okay, we're wearing just like a James Purse t-shirt and jeans or whatever I need to move around in. To get shopping done, get fittings done, taken care of. I usually look insanely atrocious on
I'm sure you don't.
No. Like there's like if there's weddings or like things where I'm just like moving up and down like Manhattan, it's functionality.
Yeah.
And it
Do you bring like extra? Yeah.
I do. As I'm like hauling garment bags, like just like running things up and down elevators to their room and to the store and back and getting everything tailored, lots of pickups. It's not as glamorous.
Oh, I was a fashion stylist in the early 2000s.
Yes.
Before iPhones.
Yes.
I assisted my old boss, Inga, who I still speak to, and she would literally put me in a cab with a bunch of cash and be like, you have to go here, 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 here. I had no, like, map. Like, no.
Yeah.
I think actually styling is so interesting because I feel like it teaches you how to be resourceful, and
For sure.
it teaches you where to get anything that you could possibly need. So, yeah.
Definitely.
Having a uniform is probably pretty important.
What was yours? Did you have a uniform?
I mean, my uniform changes seasonally, but I'm a t-shirt and jeans girl.
Yes.
And that's why I love making jackets for my brand, because I'm like, if I'm wearing a t-shirt and jeans, which is what I'm wearing right now, I just throw on one of the jackets. So that's like my thing, is t-shirt, jeans, and jacket. But in the summer, I like to wear like a little mini skirt and flat. I'm still into that, but
you look great in it. Every time I see you, I'm just like, oh, Hilary's just the cutest thing.
Oh my God,
You're
I feel the same way about you.
Oh.
And every time you come into the store, I'm like, what are you wearing? Which is actually probably that's what you do for, I like when you come in here and you are wearing something that has a twist, like when you come in wearing the Gold Coast Dyes jacket, and it's not something, it's like a classic, it's like a Carhartt, but it's, the bleach dye, and you look so good in classic eclectic, like exactly what you said. It makes so much sense to me. It really translates what you say and what you wear is like,
Oh, well, thank you. That's very sweet. I feel like every time I come in, we were talking about before we started, like every time I come in, I'm like, it's just sensory overload of how great your store is and how like amazing your taste is. And then all the pop-ups that you have and all the like wonderful like women artisans that like it's just insane. It's just a blessing to have this here.
Thank you. Well, I feel like that is the best part about having the store space, is meeting other people. Like how you just said, it's all about your clients. When people come in here, I always start up conversations with everybody, and a lot of times I click with somebody, and like you and Erin and I are, can I say that we're starting?
Yeah.
We're starting a book club. We're starting a local book club. I don't know exactly the details, but we will be kind of mutually posting about that in January. Let's see. What other questions do I have? Okay, we asked. Oh, okay. So here's another question for you. When you have a major event or some meeting or something where you are like, I have got to bring my best to the table. What do you, besides the white button down, like, which is like a daily thing or a uniform thing, what are you reaching for in your closet?
Accessories. I love just putting like a funky belt with something because again, like it catches the eye and it's like, oh, she knows about how to put together an outfit and has like something like different. I like that.
Okay.
Shoes too. I have like a shoe problem.
It's okay. It's not a
shoes.
problem.
It's just like insane.
Yeah.
But I like to keep the canvas neat, but throw some glitter on it.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, give me a silhouette or something that like our listeners can picture. Like,
Okay.
is it like a black silk, like, or whatever? You tell me.
So recently when I was like, okay, I have to kind of like not pitch a client, but make sure the client knows that I know it.
Right. Yeah.
I wore a black silk slip dress, put a black biker leather jacket on top of it, and had like this funky, Kate makes like the best belts. So I had this like faux snake skin with this huge Western buckle kind of like at my waist, and just like a really fun pair of boots that I've been kind of holding back. And I was like, okay, they're like a croc texture. I was like, I'm still in my like all black little silhouette that I kind of just fade in and let them be the star of the show.
Right.
But I kind of look like I know how to put together things.
Well, I feel like you're taking a classic silhouette. That's why I asked about the silhouette, because I actually feel like sometimes people don't have like a particular piece that they
Right.
are thinking of, but it's like, what silhouette looks good and you feel comfortable and confident. And I feel like the biker jacket like ups the cool element, and then like the belt and the boots are like tie it all together, and you kind of like a badass like stylist, like cool. You want that element of cool, because otherwise it doesn't set you apart from.
Right. Like it's hard being, I like whenever a new client comes to me, I always have like a little intake interview of like making sure.
Oh, I was going to ask you that actually. So what, like, can you give us one of the questions that you ask?
Sure. Yeah. I flip it on them. I'm like, what is your style and why are you seeking a stylist to help you? And I like to hear what their style is. And like I said, usually it's like classic timeless.
Right.
Because a lot of them are in a formal workspace.
Right.
And I'm like, why do you want a stylist? And it's usually to clean out their current wardrobe and just really start fresh.
Like streamlining sort of, or?
A little. Recently, it's been like I am at a new phase in my life, and I just don't think that my current wardrobe suits me anymore. Okay. And then I dig deeper into that.
Right. So you're like a psychologist.
A little bit. I don't know. I have a soft spot for all of my clients, and I'm just like, I just want you to feel as beautiful as you are because you're so gorgeous. And I don't know. I want everyone to believe that when they're going out the door. Yes. But I've had a couple that are just like, I just kind of need some new basics, just not anything exciting. And
like a base wardrobe.
Yeah, which is fine. Like I love putting together capsules. But if it's something that isn't going to build, I'm kind of like, I don't say this, but I'm like, just go to Bergdorf or Neiman's and they'll help you.
Yes. Right.
Like if you're not looking for like a longer term
relationship,
where we can really build you, I don't really know why you need me.
Right, but you provide support. And honestly, I think that's why anybody like, you and I going to the bookstore in town because Lisa knows our taste in books. It's like creating those relationships is so important. And that's why even if they could go to a really high-end department store, you handle everything. And that is so special. And I think, listen, even though I love dressing myself, like I want you to come to my house and I want you to come to my closet. So I think you have yourself a new client because I actually know it's hard. I think it's hard. I have so many clothes and I don't wear a lot of them.
Yeah.
And, do you ever have clients who want you to come and reorganize their existing and put outfits together from what they already have?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That was pretty much my entire January through March last year, which was great.
Yeah.
I got like a big influx of clients in like January, which was amazing. Because that's the time of year where you get kind of scared.
Yeah.
You're like, everyone's hibernating and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just really got our hands dirty,
Yeah.
went in there and I'm like, when's the last time you wore this? Does it still fit? And
what do you do with people who are like, I am not getting rid of this? Do you have like do you put like a section in their closet? Because that would be me. I would be like, I'm sorry, Erin, I have never worn that, and I am not getting
the same. Oh, sorry, I just like hit my microphone. Hopefully that didn't like kill anyone's ears. Because I have the same section in my closet, or it's stuff that I probably don't even fit into anymore. And that's what I tell my clients. I'm like, I am guilty of this too.
Right.
But I keep it because I like to look at it.
Yeah.
And you have like
I like
such
to look at it too.
Yeah.
It's like a museum piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like you have such a like core memory tied to either wearing it or buying it.
Yeah.
So I have that section too. Right. And I have clients who we now have those sections.
Yeah.
But if it's like this is what kind of killed my soul last February. It wasn't even a client. It was like a friend's referral. And it was like a one-off. She's like, she just needs some help. And everything was like, if it's like stained or like,
no. I don't have problems letting go of that sort of thing.
But it's just like, it was like, and they're like, oh, we can fix it. And I'm like, okay.
But will you?
Exactly.
Yeah. We all have those piles too, probably, that are like, this needs a little repair, but it never makes it to the,
But it's tough.
Yeah.
And it's some of it you have to just be a little ruthless about, like the white T-shirt that.
Oh yeah, yep.
Unless
it's like a band T-shirt, like a vintage band T-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last question before we go into like the little final questions.
Okay.
Is what look will you never be over?
Oh gosh. In terms of like just like a look
it was
that
like
I've
epic
seen.
And it was like, or either something that you've worn or something that you've come across in your fashion career that is like the look. It could be a runway look, it could be your wedding dress, it could be,
I think that, that's tough. I really think it was Alexander McQueen when he did the Shipwreck show and had that dress that I think Versace tried to replicate, and that's the one that like Carrie wore in Paris, where it was like the huge ruffle dress where she like gets hit like in the face by like Petrovsky. So that was like the first, like, but the McQueen version was just like this nude, just torn to shreds looking dress that took up the entire runway, and
what year was this?
I want to say it was like, when did he pass? Was it 2014?
Was that long ago?
Yeah. It might have been even longer. I've been like in this phase recently where I've been thinking a lot about him for some reason.
Yeah.
I've been thinking a lot about...
Well, it must be like a style influence, like a major style influence.
And because I read a quote from him, I was on the train just like reading on my iPad. I have like all these early 2000s Vogue pieces like that I've like saved.
Yeah. Yes.
And it was him just being like, I couldn't care less about fashion, the runway, clothes. Clothes are just something you sew together and put out there. And he's like, I couldn't care if anyone likes them or not. What makes them is how you
wear them.
Yeah.
I feel like I just read that quote too. Yeah. Did you post it?
I may have.
Yeah, I've been. I actually have read that recently, a couple of different places. So, yeah.
He was just so like an FU to the system. Like he hated anyone into
Oh, I mean,
it's so funny.
yeah.
And it's
I feel that.
yeah.
Sorry, but I Vogue. I like old Vogue. It's like
Same.
old Celine. It's like I like
Yes.
old Vogue from the night. I mean, the 90s is my era,
Yeah.
and that's what I like. When I think of Vogue, I'm like, okay, Vogue in the 90s.
Same, because that's when Grace
Oh, and-
Coddington had a lot of editorial
Yes.
pull.
Yeah.
And she had an eye, or
Yeah.
she still is with, I don't, if she's still with Vogue.
I don't know. I honestly don't. I'm a fashion designer. I don't pay a lot. I actually get a lot of my fashion info from you, from your stuff that you post, because I do listen to like some podcasts that are fashion based, but
Yeah.
what is the line sheet one? What is
Oh, Fashion People.
Oh, I love Fashion People.
Yeah.
But I stopped really following fashion. I am very much like anti. I don't like to do anything the way that other people do it. So
Good for you. Because
Yeah.
I'm very much getting that way.
Yeah.
And I feel like influencer culture has just,
ruined.
it's ruined,
Yeah,
and it's taken individuality
Yes.
away from everything.
Yep.
And all of the print media is geared towards that
Yep.
now.
Yeah. And I'm a magazine journalist major. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to start a magazine. I would love to actually still start a magazine. So put that in the back of your head.
Yeah.
But anyway, so at the end of our conversations, I like to ask a couple questions. What is the first thing you do in the morning?
I get up and wash my face, do all of that thing, chug an Athletic Greens and work out.
Wow.
very not-
You're like a real go-getter in the morning.
I have to be.
Yeah.
Well, you know how, like, having two little kids.
I know.
You're like, if I don't live
Yeah.
before they wake up, you don't really
Yeah,
live.
but I'm the opposite. I'm the one who my 14-year-old is waking me up, come drive me to school. Like that's my life now. But
that is my goal.
Yeah.
I want to be there. In 11 years,
Yeah.
I really want that to be the case.
don't rush it. But totally, like it's pretty amazing now. What is the last thing you do before you go to bed?
I journal. I have a little thing I saw on Amazon this summer. It was like,
Were you telling me about this?
yeah, it's like a 1 line a day
Yeah.
thing. And I write down something that my boys have done that day. And it could just be like Fields built a really cool tractor, or like 2 days ago, Bennett said his name for the first time. So I write that down.
Sweet. I love it. No, those are the things you want to remember.
It's like, I'm usually just like dead. I'm like, okay, like just go to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yes.
He did this today. I have to write
Yeah.
it down. Yeah, hopefully that journal doesn't like get lost.
No.
But
It's like a treasure. What do you wear to sleep in?
I wear a little house dress by Lake pajamas. They're like little cabana dress I wear.
So cute.
It's soft,
I
and
love
I feel
that.
like I want to sleep in. I'm like a vampire. I want it to be like 40 degrees in my room.
Yeah, but with a heavy blanket. I
Yes.
like cold, but with a heavy blanket.
Yes, I love getting into bed and feeling like crispy and being like, oh, it might be too cold in here,
Yeah.
but like it's gonna be
I know.
fine. 5 minutes,
Yes,
be great.
totally. I love that too. So that about sums up our conversation. You can find Erin on Instagram
Yes.
at Erin Crawford Stylist.
Erin Crawford Styles.
Styles with an
Yeah.
S at the end?
Yes.
Okay, I'll put it in the show notes, but where else can we find you?
I have a website, erincrawfordstyles.com. It might be getting a little revamp in 2025, but who knows? But yeah, DM me, email me. I'm everywhere.
And you also you do like Zoom stuff too, right?
I do. Yeah, I do.
So if you're not local,
virtual.
you can still hire Erin, or you can still set up a meeting with Erin. So
Lots of virtual styling happening.
yes. Yay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, bye.